Hi, my name is Kat, a free librarian, and welcome to a reading vlog. It is Monday, and I'm just gonna say it's the second week of Escape the Readathon. It's technically not, like it's the 12th, which is like almost the start of the third week, but just it's a second vlog, so I'm gonna call it the second week. It's fine. But yeah, I'm still participating in Escape the Readathon. I'll link the creator down below, which is Lexi from Books with Lexi. It's a great readathon. I'm really enjoying it. It's just so creative. I'm really impressed. But I want to start this vlog, and I will start by telling you what I'm currently reading, and then I have a bit of a haul for you, like a library haul, because I just went to the library. So first and foremost, my sort of main priority right now is Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake. This is the first book in the Bright Falls trilogy. It's a sapphic contemporary romance about Delilah Green, who she doesn't have a great relationship with her stepmother and her stepsister. But then her stepsister is getting married, and she is hired as a photographer on the wedding, because her stepsister and her stepmother knew that if she weren't going to be paid to be there, she just wouldn't come. So they're like, we're gonna hire her as a photographer, and she has to be there. And then she's here. But she is like kind of mad. It's like, why wouldn't they just invite me? Like, why are they always shutting me out type of deal? Has a lot of childhood trauma around this. So that's her. And then we have her love interest is Claire, who is one of the stepsister's best friends. And they're having a romance. I have read the second book in the series in 2023, and it made it to my top 10 reads of that year. So I don't know why I keep putting off the series, but I do. But I decided to just get going with this. The game that we were in, that I was going to be reading this for, is closed by now. Like, I knew when I started that I probably wouldn't be able to finish it. Before that, like, I'm literally this far in, which is 20%? I don't know, somewhere around there. No, more like a quarter. No, not a quarter. 20% is more accurate. Whatever. I can't do eyeballing right now because it's too hot out, and I'm not made for these temperatures, and my brain isn't made for these temperatures. Anyway, so yeah, we're following them. I've lost my train of thought. Yeah, I wasn't going to finish this in time for the game to be able to count it for the game, but this also works for the prompt of the dining room, which is a book that matches your outfit. It doesn't match the outfit I'm wearing right now, but when I decided to read this book, like that this was going to be the next book that I read, I was wearing a purple, that's like a lilac blouse, so it matches the cover. So it counts for the dining room. That's what I'm gonna put this towards, and yeah, I am enjoying it so far. I am excited to continue reading it. It's great. I know that this is gonna break my heart, and it's gonna be an emotional gut punch because that was the second book. But I'm excited. So this is my kind of priority for now. Then in the background, kind of, I'm also reading Peterburg Tales by Nikolai Gogol, which is Russian classic short stories. I've read the first one, really liked it. I really like the writing of it, so I'm excited for the rest. I'm not sure what they're about, but I've been wanting to read this collection for absolute ages. And yeah, so I'm gonna read it now. I'm not sure, because I tend to read short stories a little bit slower, so I'm not sure when I'm going to finish this, and so I'm not entirely sure what rooms will be open by the time I do. So we'll see what it ends up working for out of the rooms that are still open. To Teen Detectives, which is the team that I'm part of. It could work for The Arcade, which is a book that you haven't heard a lot of people talking about, and for The Pool, because we have two L's here in the Dutch title, which is the edition that I'm reading. I think that's all the prompt that it will work for, but yeah, I am really excited to continue reading this, but it's gonna be like a story here and there. Like, I'm not gonna just sit down and read the whole thing with this, which I never read with short stories, but especially not with this, because the writing style is a little bit more complicated, because it is a Russian classic. So I'm taking my time with this, but I'm enjoying it, and I'm still writing it in the background. I'll update you if I've read another story of this. So those are like the two books for this week. I just got back from the library though, so I did a little haul. I probably won't be reading any of these. Like, I might, no, there's one that I might read in this vlog, and there's another one that I might, that I like want to start soon, but I don't know if I'll be able to. So maybe actually, we'll see what happens. But so the main reason I went is because my hold came in for Thornhedge by T. Kingfisher, which is a novella. It's a fairy tale retelling. I believe it's a Rapunzel retelling. I've heard great things about T. Kingfisher, but I keep putting off her books. I don't know why. I think like because I actually don't know why. It's, yeah, but I've decided I'm gonna go for it now. I'm gonna read Thornhedge. I am probably gonna use this for one of the games because it is very short, and so if a game comes up where like the prompt, where this book fits one of the prompts, I can just easily read it very quickly, and then count this towards my team. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I actually placed a hold on this for Magical Readathon in April, because I needed a book with Thorn in the title, and this was the only one I could think of that I hadn't read yet. So it didn't give me in time. So yeah, I'm gonna be reading it in May, hopefully. Then, while I was there, I was like kind of browsing through the shelves, and I came across this, The Stranger Diaries by Ellie Griffith. I've seen this before, and I've been interested in it, but like I just wrote down the title and didn't get it at the time, but I was like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna you know, try and get it. I believe this is about a horror author's like horror author who is murdered. So yeah, I don't know, or like a murder. There's a murder, and there is a horror author, and there's a haunting, and that's all. I can't make full sense of like the synopsis. My brain just won't put the dots together for now. But yeah, I'll tell you once I've started this. But I'm interested. It's the first book in a series in the Harbinger Core series. So yeah, I'm very excited to see what this is going to be. Then the comeback of the year, in terms of my rating, is the first love trilogy by Joe Abercrombie. I really thought that I wasn't going to continue this or finish this trilogy, not because I don't like the books. I actually really do. While I'm reading them, I'm enjoying them a lot. But when I'm not reading them, I don't really feel the urge to pick up the next book. So it was like, you know, realistically, the odds of me actually picking up the third and final book in this trilogy are slim. But here we are. Here we are. I am going to try to do it. I kind of, like, I'm suddenly in the mood for, like, adult high fantasy, and I had a couple of options, and I wasn't sure which one to pick. And then I just was at the library, just in the beginning of the alphabet, like the shelf there, because I was actually looking for the Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. I actually wanted to get that, but it wasn't there, like someone else had borrowed it. So I was like, fine. So like I looked over to the left and it was there. And I was like, sure, why not? So yeah. I am probably going to be reading this relatively soon. I'm not sure in this video, but like I'm actually going to finish the series. I never thought I would say this, but apparently I have. I mean, I'd say that now, like, with the amount of books that I have out from the library at this moment, there is no way I'm actually going to be able to read all of them before I have to return all of them, because, like, I have this haul, but then I have also, like, a huge pile that I already had, so, like, there's also a chance that I'll have to definitely return some of the books unread, so it still could just not be read, but we're gonna hope that it is. Then I also got 2 comics. I won't be able to count these. Oh wait, I forgot to tell you what prompts the other 2 would work for. So the Last Argument of Kings. I think that this would actually only work for the pool, which is to have exactly 2 of the same letter in the title, and we have an A in last, and we have an A in argument. I think that it's actually the only prompt this would work for. But to be quite honest, it is very much possible that I won't be able to finish this book this month. So, I mean, you have to read 200 pages in, well, 200 pages or half of it, whichever comes first, in May to be able to count it. So if I could just get to, like, past page 200 in this at the end of the month, I could still count it for something. If we still have something left to count it for, or else I could just submit it for pages. How long is this? It's gonna be so long. Oh my gosh. 695. That's actually, I was thinking more like 800. So like, that's actually pretty decent. So yeah, that is The Last Argument of Kings. I'm really excited suddenly. So yeah, I'm actually, this book, this series is no longer on my series spreadsheet, so I'll probably just add it there just to be able to cross it off when I finish the book, because it's just satisfying to be able to cross off a line there, right? So that is The Last Argument of Kings. And The Stranger Diaries would work for, are there 2? Oh yeah, there's 2 A's as well, one in Stranger and one in Diaries, or 2 I's, both in Diaries. So it could work for the pool. It could also work for the bar, which is a genre blend, because this appears to be like some horror and some mystery or thriller. So yeah, we'll see. But I'm quite excited. But then, what I was actually saying, I have 2 comics that I probably won't be able to count towards a prompt, because their book has to be at least 50 pages in order to count. But for graphic novels, comics, manga, you have to have the page count. So for graphic novels, or comics, we need at least 100 pages, and Franco-Belgian comics tend to be either 48 or 52, sometimes 56, but usually 48 or 52. And they're never like far outside of that range. So like we're not gonna get to 100. And I'm not gonna do the thing where like it's 2 albums and that's the full series. Like I'm not gonna do a thing where I'm just gonna read both of them and pretend they're one big one. I'll just submit for pages, but that is Dans la tête de Sherlock Holmes, which or in the head of Sherlock Holmes. I'm not sure if there is an English version of this. I forgot the title. If there is an English version, I tend to give the English title. If not, then the title in whatever the original language was, which is French in this case. But so yeah, we have Sherlock Holmes ones. Also fun, like I can't do it, I'm holding both. The front one, it's like a little window here, as you can see, and you like to what is behind there, which I think is really fun, and the second one has that as well. Oh my god, this is hard. Okay. So I really like that. I'm excited. I didn't know that these books exist, but I was just like, in order to get from the English section to the exit, you have to pass the comics. And we're just standing there. And they were like, hello, we exist. And I was like, I see you, and I'm gonna take you home. Thank you very much. So, yeah. And it's only 2, and that's the full series. So that is always nice. So yeah, I'm excited about these, because I quite enjoy the art style. It does some very interesting things with color. I'll try to show you. I hope this page doesn't spoil anything. So you see like it's like green and purple, and I don't know. I really enjoy that. Again, I hope I just didn't spoil anything. I haven't read them, so I don't know. But yeah. Anyway, that is... Oh no, that is not the haul. I have one more book, because on my way home from the library, I passed a free little library. And I always take a look, and usually there's like not much in it, but this time it was so full with so much stuff, and I was like, okay, I need to take a look to see what's in there, because sometimes it's almost empty. It was so full. And there was one book that I decided to take home with me and give it a try, and that is The Lost Labyrinth by Will Adams, which is a thriller about this archaeologist who claims that he has found the golden fleece from Greek mythology and then gets murdered. And so we have another archaeologist who is trying to solve the murder. So yeah, very interesting. So we'll see. So we have like murder mystery, but also like archaeology, trying to find a treasure type of deal. So I probably won't be reading this month, but I really would like to read this summer. So yeah, I will get this. I am just piling up the books that I got from this free little library. I need to... Would you be interested in like a themed vlog where I just read a bunch of books that I gotten from free libraries? I could do that. That would be fun. Like to read like 3 of them or something, because I think I currently have like 6 on my shelves that I was planning to just read very quickly and then put it back so other people can read it. But yeah, that didn't happen. So I could probably do a vlog with that. Anyway, that was the full library haul and the full intro. I am going to get going because this clip is already way too long already, and I have class in I don't know, 15 minutes. So I need to get going. But so yeah, welcome to the vlog, and I will talk to you when I have an update. Hopefully tomorrow, because I don't want the same thing to happen with this vlog as it did with the last vlog, where it just disappear for a week and don't update at all. So I'm gonna go in. Bye. Okay, so it is Wednesday morning and I have updates. I've read 2 more stories in Peterburg Tales, so let's talk about both of these first. So the second story, I really need to look up English titles of these stories before I start talking, but like some like diary of a crazy person or something like that. So we have these diary entries that just, and of course the second I start filming, traffic is getting loud. Anyway, we have these diary entries that just become more and more unhinged or weird as the story goes on. And I don't even know how to like give you a synopsis of this book because it's so odd. Like, it's just a diary entry of this guy who's like mentally not, he's like kind of going crazy as the story goes on. And I think it's very interesting that, like, especially towards the end, he thinks that a certain thing is going on and that certain things are happening, and he frames it in a certain way. But we as a reader understand that it's not at all what is actually happening, and we understand, like, what the situation really is, and I think that that is very interesting and very fun. So yeah, I really like the second story. I liked him more than the first one. The first one was like, okay, this writing, like, writing itself, it's kind of funny and stuff, and so I liked it, but I didn't like the story itself necessarily. But I was like, okay, I'll continue reading because, like, I'm not disliking it. But then the second story was really like, okay, if the stories after this is going to be like the second story, then this is going to be a great collection that I love. And the third story was also just very weird. So the third story is about, so we start off with this man who is cutting open a piece of bread and he finds a nose inside of it. And things go from there, and it just gets so weird and absurd. And I love it. Like, I'm so here for it. I have discovered recently that, not just in my reading, but just in, like, stories in general, I quite like absurdism. I think it's a lot of fun. And I think that a lot of, like, absurd stories you can, like, read over and over and over again and continue to find new things, which is always fun. So yeah, I really like that. I'm really enjoying this, having a great time with just the absurdness of it all. I hope there's 4 more stories left. I hope that the other 4 are going to be that as well. Because yeah, I'm really liking it. So, like, the first story so far has been, like, the weakest, but they're just organized chronologically of when Gogol wrote them, because each of these stories have been published separately before the collection was made. So, like, there's not much, like, editorial decision in the order in which they're here. It's just the order in which they were published. So yeah, but I'm really liking this so far. I will probably read 1 or 2 more in this vlog. I probably won't finish a collection in this vlog, but yeah, this is great. Then I haven't really read anything more in Delilah Green, but I am planning to start a new book today because we have opened the next room. Opened the arcade, and the arcade is going to be closed so fast. I already know that. Um, but I'm not going to say why. In case other teams are watching and I don't want to spoil it for them. But the arcade is going to be closed very fast, and I don't think I'll be able to contribute much to the arcade because of that, because I won't be able to read a whole ton. But my plan is to read Thornhedge, which is a novella, very short, so I can probably contribute that now and have that out of the way because I really want to read it, but I keep putting it off. So I think that that is going to be something that I start either tonight or tomorrow and just read in one go because it's really short. But another one that I wanted to start is Blood of Hercules. My e-reader is doing the thing again where it's showing only part of the cover because like you can't just it's fine. Like if this the thing is the cover thing, it's doing weird all the time, but like that is like the least important element of the e-reader in my opinion. So like as long as it's that I'm okay. But so Blood of Hercules, which is a romantasy. I didn't know a ton about it. Like based on a title, I assume it has to do with Greek mythology. What I do know is it was nominated for the Goodreads Choice Award for Romantasy last year, and all the romantasy people that I follow were so confused because like none of it has heard of the story or this book, and we're like, where did this come from? Like, what the hell is this Blood of Hercules? So yeah, and I've heard them like to people who attempted to read all the nominees didn't love this. So we'll see how it goes, and that is kind of why I'm starting it now, because I think that there is a decent chance that I will DNF it pretty soon. I mean, I have to read either 200 pages or 50% in order to be able to count it towards this Keep the Readathon. That's the dishwasher. So there is a chance that I will finish after 200 pages because that is sooner than 50%. But then that way that will just be a lot quicker and I can count it towards the arcade if it's still open by that point. If not, there is two rooms that we have left are the bar and the dining room, and it will work for both of those because it kind of matches my outfit. Not my t-shirt, which is what you're seeing, but the shorts I'm wearing, they're like white with branches with like leaves and flowers, which is also what the cover, like you can see the branches here. I mean, my word is black and white, so like you can't see, but it's the white cover. So like it does match my outfit. So that's a dining room, and then it's a romantasy, which is a genre blend, so it could work for the bar as well. So if I don't end up finishing this in time for the arcade, then I still have options to count it. So I'm being strategic here. So yeah, I really don't know what to expect. I really don't know if I'm gonna like this or not. I am not expecting this to you know, like be super faithful to mythology, and how far like faithfulness to mythology exists, but that's a different tangent for a different day. But I just think this is gonna be like fun and campy. At least I hope so. So we'll see. But I'm gonna be starting this, and I'll give you my thoughts once I've read a bit. So yeah, talk to you then. Okay, so it is now Saturday. I'm actually updating throughout the weekend. Who am I? But I've read another story in Peterburg Tales. I've read the fourth story, which is the longest in the collection, and I really enjoyed it. So it is about this painter who suddenly becomes very successful overnight, and it sort of explores what happens when an artist suddenly becomes successful and how that how he deals with that, but also that the success comes at a price, quite literally, and that there is this painting, not the artist hasn't made this painting, but he purchases the painting pretty early on in the story because he's quite impressed with it. And this painting is essentially what caused his. I got a notification and it cut me off, which is very rude. Well, my phone stopped filming. So anyway, this painting is the cause of his success in some roundabout ways, and yeah, it's a creepy painting with some creepy things happening. I'm not gonna say too much, but I really, really enjoyed it. I really like how it went. It has like a story in 2 parts. And in the first part, we were very much exploring the artist only becoming successful and whatnot. And then the second part is really exploring like the painting and how it came to be and stuff. And we get a bit of backstory about the person who painted it. And I know it's a very interesting story. I really, really like it. I'm not sure how to talk about it in a spoiler-free way because there is so much that I want to say, but I don't think I can really do that here. But I think it's a very interesting and intriguing story, and I really, really enjoyed it. So yeah, it is just making me more excited to continue reading in this collection. I'm really, really loving it. Like the first story, wasn't bad, but didn't love it. But then the stories after that have really been on my alley, and I really, really like them. So I hope the last 3 are going to be great as well, and that this is just going to be a 5-star collection for me because I'm having a great time. So that is Peterburg Tales. Then I told you I was going to start Blood of Hercules. I've read the prologue. I'm 3% in, which is not very far, but I wanted to, check in really quickly because I had heard some very, not even mixed, just downright negative things about this book, and especially about the writing. And again, I've only read the prologue, so I could still change my mind, but the prologue, the writing in it itself, like the style, the sentences themselves, wasn't bad. Like there were a lot of very short sentences placed together, but not to the extent that it really bothered me. Just a thing that like it was noticeable but not annoying, I think, is the right way to put it. So it could still turn around. Who knows? I'm still tempering my expectations because I really think that there's a pretty decent chance that I'll DNF this. But I wanted to see for myself. But I do want to give it a go because I am curious. So I'm going to keep reading. I will keep you updated. But the start of it isn't terrible. So yeah, I'm quite excited to continue. And then there is another book, I don't know if I've mentioned in this video, but I'm also listening to the audiobook of Raybearer by Jordan Ifueko, and I really would like to finish that this weekend. So hopefully my next update will be that I've finished that book. I don't have a ton of it left. But so yeah, we'll see where I get. If I don't finish it this week, then I'll finish it next week. It's fine. But yeah, I'm really enjoying that one. There was a little while where it sort of like, not that I didn't like it or wasn't interested, but I just wasn't really listening to a lot of anything, because if I'm not listening to an audiobook, I usually just put on like YouTube in the background. That is what I mostly do. I don't listen to a ton of audiobooks. I wasn't doing that either. So it wasn't like the book's fault. It was just I wasn't doing a lot of things that I would put an audiobook on in the background, and in the moments that I did do it, like I wanted to listen to the music of Hadestown because I freaking love that musical and obsessed, and I want to just listen to those songs. So that is why I didn't make much progress in it for a little while, and it sort of didn't move. But I listened to it again yesterday, and I'm again really invested, and I just want to continue that as well. So yeah, I'm having a good time all around. So yeah, that is the update. I will talk to you on Monday, hopefully with having a full-on opinion on Blood of Hercules, hopefully having read another story in Peterburg Tales, and hopefully having finished Raybearer. Am I being very ambitious now? Yes, but you know, sometimes you just gotta be ambitious. Okay, so I'll talk to you then. Bye. Okay, so updating has taken quite a while. It is actually Friday now. I again made this 2 weeks accidentally, oopsie, but that's fine, because this will be, you know, the end of the vlog, and then I won't be vlogging for a little while because, you know, exams are coming up. Yay, uni life. I don't know what the hell that sound is. Okay, anyway, I have quite a few updates. I think when I last talked to you, I told you I was going to finish Raybearer, get a decent chunk of Blood of Hercules in, read another story in Peterburg Tales, and I think that's it. Yeah, I didn't read more in Peterburg Tales than what I told you last time, unfortunately. I was thinking maybe I can just read a story and then film this clip right after, but honestly, I'm just going to finish this in my own time, probably. I might read a story today, but just, I was like, no, I want to have this filmed because I wanted to have this filmed like 3 days ago. So I thought I needed to, you know, film a final clip for the vlog first. So I didn't read any more of that, unfortunately. I did do the other two things. So I did finish Raybearer. I freaking loved it. It was great. The ending part was fantastic. It, you know, I should have seen the ending coming, but I didn't. I was vaguely thinking in that direction, but I didn't think to that extent, I guess, or that's not the right word. I didn't guess it exactly. I was like in the same vague direction, but I didn't guess it. And now that I know it, I'm like, why did I guess that? It's so obvious. But so yeah, I love that feeling of like, okay, this makes total sense, and I very much could have guessed it, but I didn't. That's my favorite feeling, with like a reveal or something like that, because then I think that the author did a great job with planting the seeds, getting in the clues early, making sure that it makes sense within the bounds of the world, while still being able to surprise me, which I think is the way a reveal is supposed to be done. I loved this thematically. I like the plot. This book is fantastic. I really liked it. I'm so glad that I finally read it. I just did the themes of when you think a certain thing and you've been taught a certain version of the facts and a certain type of history, sort of learning later on that that may not be correct and there may be more nuance, and that who you thought was the good guy isn't as perfect as they are, and who you thought was the bad guy have had some things that don't excuse all the things that they have in fact done. But you know, they're not like, they're also victims of certain things, and certain things are more understandable and stuff like that. And I think that that is very, I like that as a theme, especially in a young adult book. I think that that is something that, like, growing up is really something that we go through. Like, we realize that the world is a lot more complex than we thought as a child, and that every issue has a lot of history behind it, a lot of reasoning behind it, a lot of sensitivities behind it, and that you can't just, you know, like, every side in a conflict, I'm not like, not every side in every conflict, obviously, like, there are some things that are very clear cut, but a lot of the time, every side in a conflict has certain things that are good about them and certain things that are bad about them, and choosing your side is never as clear cut as it is sometimes made out to be. And you can't just say, oh, I'm gonna join these people. You have to say, oh, I like these aspects of these people and I'm going to join them in that, whilst also not compromising on these other things that I also find important and that I also find right and just and align with my values, that maybe at least other side is more inclined to do. I really like that as a theme in a young adult novel. I think that that is very, very important to learn as a teenager. So yeah, that was great. I really want to start the second book now, but libraries are being mean again. Because, okay, so my library has an audiobook copy of the first book, which is the version I read, but they don't have the second book in any format. But I had just gone to like the website of like all the libraries in like, you can search every library in the country where they have a copy of a certain book, and I'd seen that there was at least one library that had it available, because it was, you know, in the database. So I wanted to request that copy through an interlibrary loan, but the way that an interlibrary loan here works, it is different in different places, in different countries, and different systems. But here, you can only request books that have been in that library where it is in possession there for at least a year. So it doesn't matter when it was released, the library has to have obtained a copy, like that particular copy, at least a year ago or longer. And I assumed, maybe foolishly, that that was the case with that copy. Well, it's not. I'm gonna have to wait till November in order to be able to get it, which I'm really sour about, because like I want to read it right now. Which just I want to continue this story. Like, I want to know how it continues, but I have to wait, which I'm so sad about. So that is a sign that it is in fact fantastic. I gave it 5 stars. It is wonderful. I love it. I recommend it to everyone. So yeah, I'm gonna be sad that I can't continue it. But I'll as soon as I'm able to, because November is my birthday month. And it becomes available, I've checked the exact date, the day before my birthday. So, like, it's a little birthday present to me, right? So, yeah, I'm gonna be reading it then. I might reread the first book before then. Not because I don't remember, not because I don't think I'm gonna remember it well, but just because it's a good book and I may want to reread it. So we'll see when that comes around. But yeah, I'm really excited for book 2. Then Blood of Hercules. I got up to 40%. As I already said in my previous clip, or maybe I haven't said it, it reads insanely fast. I don't think it is particularly well written. The world building doesn't make a ton of sense. The characters are very underdeveloped. It is like one of those brutal worlds that are just super brutal for the sake of being brutal, to the point where it's like ridiculous and it doesn't make sense. But I ate it up. It reads so fast. It's just like going through it, which is what I needed at that point. And I think that we need to normalize that sometimes, like, not every book you read has to be a 5-star book. Sometimes what you just need is something that you can fly through, even if you acknowledge that it's not very good, and you won't be recommending it, and you won't be, giving it a high rating, which you know that in advance, but sometimes that's just what you want, and I think that we have the right to read books like that. And so I got to 40%, and then I didn't need this type of book anymore. So I DNF'd it. Again, not because I was having a bad time, because it gave me what I wanted. It is just the value that it was adding to my life was of a nature that I didn't need anymore. It served me when I was reading it, but what it gave me was no longer what I wanted. So I stopped consuming it. And I think that this is a very valid reason to DNF, that we should normalize that even if you're not having a bad time, if it scratches an itch that has now been sufficiently scratched, you can DNF it, which is what I did. So I stopped reading at 40%. I don't know if I've actually told you what this book is about, so maybe I should do it. So we are set in a post-apocalyptic world. It is the year 2090, I think, on Earth. And we have this society where there's sort of two... Okay. Rewind. Back in ancient Greece, you had the Spartans, who were Spartans as in Spartans as part of the world building of this book right now. Spartans are not like the historical Spartans. Okay, the Spartans, who were very strong, very magic wielding, and immortal. And so those are the ones that we know as the Greek gods. There were many different houses that had a lot of like gods and other mythical people. But so these houses are divided into two categories, the Olympic and the chthonic ones, and they're sort of have been in battle throughout history. Where in the current time of the story, the Olympians are in charge. They are very strong. They are very big, and they have, children with mortal humans. And then the chthonic houses, they don't have children with mortal humans. They are kind of like looked down upon, feared often because their types of magic aren't considered good. And they are tasked to fight and catch titans who are roaming the earth and attacking people. And when they become 18, I think, every Spartan of a chthonic house is forced to complete these trials. And I mean, other Spartans can participate too, but I don't think it's mandatory for them, ? I'm not entirely sure. Like, the world building was very wonky, okay? And I think it contradicted itself a couple of times. Whatever. We follow our main character, who is an orphan. And of course, what do you think? She finds out that she is at least half Spartan and now has to participate in these trials, where she gets two mentors, which are Patroclus and Achilles. And I'm not entirely sure who is going to be the love interest, because like two more friends of them that are also mean to her. So, there are some options. Maybe it's all of them and it's so I choose. I don't know. I didn't get to that part. But yeah, it's a romantasy. It is very like TikTok romantasy in its feel. While also not at all. It's interesting. And as I said, it just read fast, and I liked it while I read it, but I don't need it, so I DNF'd it. If what you're seeking is a very well thought out, well developed, well plotted literature with a big L type of read, maybe this is not the one for you. But if you just want a quick, easy, fun, brutal story, give it a try. Just, yeah. So that was what I read. I have a bit of a library haul because I went to the library yesterday. I'll show you what I got in case you care. So I had two holds that I needed to pick up, and both of those are books that I had borrowed from the library before. The first one is because it's going to be a reread, and that is A Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett, the first book in the Shadow of the Leviathan. This is the May pick for Reading Nim's Discord book club. I'll put our channel down below. We've read it before in the book club. We just liked it so much that we're reading it again. So, yeah, I'm going to be rereading it. I flew through the first time, and I always read, like, whenever I reread, I read books faster than it the first time. So, this is going to be, like, over before I know it. But I really enjoyed it. I had a great time when I read it last year. It is probably the book, out of all the books I read in 2024, this one probably stuck with me the most. So, yeah. Really liked it, excited to read it again and see if there were clues that I missed, now that I know the way, like the who behind it. I also don't know every detail anymore, so I'll be curious how much of it comes back as I'm reading it, and if I'll be surprised at some elements again. So that is A Tainted Cup. Then I also have one that I have gotten before that I haven't read yet, that I just returned unread, and that is Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater, the first book in the Regency fairy tale romance series. So it's a historical fantasy romance about this woman who is missing half of her soul and therefore doesn't really understand societal cues and norms and expectations, which is kind of a problem in Regency England. And then there is this one guy who is not taken aback by her, and she is the only one who's not taken aback by him. And we have a romance, and they try to get her soul back, and all that. And you know, I've been told it's cute, so I want to give it a go. And we'll see if I like it. I don't know. This could go either way for me. And then while I was there, I picked up 2 more books. First, I have a Dutch thriller novella, and that is De Vervalste Vermeer by Jeroen Meyer. I forgot to check if there's an English version of this. If there is one, it'll be in the description. But so this is, it is a series, and this is the first one, but I think the other ones are full-length novels. So this might be like more like a prequel type thing. I don't know. But there is like this museum for fake art, so copies of paintings, or like paintings that are people pretended were made by certain artists that weren't. You know, a museum with a lot of paintings like that, and one of them gets stolen, and then the, you know, guard of the museum who like make sure paintings don't get stolen, is found dead. So we have to, you know, find it. Mystery thriller type thing. I know that the author, I don't know if this is necessarily one, but I know that other books by this author have been compared to Dan Brown. So I expect sort of something similar to Dan Brown books, which I've read none of them. I have watched one movie and one TV show adaptation of his books, but I haven't read the books themselves. But in like the idea of them sounds like a lot of fun. I don't know if I like the execution, but the idea sounds fun. So yeah, I have another book by this author on my 25 books to read in 2025. That I have an ebook copy of that checked out from the library. But I thought, you know what, I will try this one. It's like a very short one, so not a big commitment, and I can see if I like his writing. Now, the other book that is on my 25 books to read in 25, he did co-author with someone else. So, it could be, I'll be slightly different from this, but then I already sort of have a feel of how he writes and what he writes and stuff. And who doesn't like a bit of art history in their books, even if it's not real art, or at least, well, it is real art because it actually exists, but it's not actually by the person that people are pretending it is. You know what I mean. So yeah, I want to give this a try. I think this will be a very quick read also that I just fly through, which is always good for a readathon. And then finally, this is one that I definitely will only start in June, but one that I'm very excited about and I've been wanting to read since I heard that it existed, and that is The Honey Witch by Sammy J. Shields. I think this is the first book in a series, but we have a sort of cozy fantasy about this honey witch honey witches are cursed that they can't find love or something like that. And then she meets this other woman who doesn't really believe in love, and it's a bit of a sapphic romance between them. It sounds so cute and cozy and lovely. So I'm really, really curious to try this, excited to try this. And I know that if I don't read it now, I have to wait till next year. Because like I want to read this in like late spring, early summer, which is like May, June. So I have to read it now. Basically. So this is one that I'm definitely gonna start in June, and I'm very excited. And I hope I like it. And that's gonna be wonderful. And yeah, ooh, there's sometimes warnings. Love to see that at the beginning of the books. Right. A lot of Hercules had content warnings in the beginning too, by the way. There are quite a few of them. So yeah. Yeah. Very excited for this. Very excited for all the books, actually. So many things that I'm looking forward to reading. Which kind of covers the blow of not being able to read Redemptor straight away. There's at least other stuff that I am excited about. But so that's it for this vlog. This clip is being so long. Oh my gosh. But I hope that you enjoyed this very messy vlog that I've been trying to sort of fit in with my life while uni work is absolutely drowning me. So I hope you enjoyed. If you've read any of the books I talked about in this video, please let me know what you thought of it. And I'll hope to see you again in another video. Bye!